And we continue to follow the breaking news. The death of Senator Dianne Feinstein at the age of 90 years old. Learning that news within just the past hour. She was a centrist Democrat, one of the longest serving female senator. Great loss for the nation as well, of course, for the state of California.
And our political correspondent Ashley Zavala is joining us right now to talk a little bit more about what happens next. Ashley, she had already announced that she would not run for re-election. So what logistically has to happen now?
Yeah, so this sort of sets off a political explosion for that U.S. Senate race. And ultimately, all eyes now are going to have to be on Governor Gavin Newsom, who has the power in appointing her successor or determining if a special election is quickly needed in order for the voters to decide who sits in at this time leading into the election next year that ultimately decides who serves in that seat for the next several years. But so I'm sure this is probably the last thing Governor Gavin Newsom wanted to wake up to this morning. He has made it very clear in recent interviews that he just is, this is an appointment that he absolutely did not want to have to make. It set off some drama with one of the Senate candidates, Barbara Lee, who the governor has said that in this scenario, if this were to happen, Senator Feinstein passing, he has said he's wanted to appoint a woman of color to this position because right now there's no representation in the Senate for someone with this background. And so, but he said he would not appoint someone who's in the race. So who does that woman end up being? Who ultimately is Governor Gavin Newsom going to look to replace it? And that right now we know it's not going to be any of the candidates that are in this race.
So would it be rare for something like that to happen, for him to appoint, say, Representative Barbara Lee, who is an announced candidate for Barbara Feinstein's job, or the election to be held next year, but so is Representative Katie Porter, a Caucasian woman, and Congressman Adam Schiff as well?
All right. So ultimately, we can just look to this last election to see how Governor Newsom maneuvered this whole situation when now Vice President Kamala Harris was the sitting U.S. Senator from California. She was tapped to serve as Biden's vice president, and then Governor Newsom ultimately had to fill her seat. So that's when he brought California's Secretary of State. He appointed him, Alex Padilla, to that Senate seat. And then that kind of launched this sort of process of, there was a somewhat of a special election. Like we saw Senator Padilla's name on the ballot twice in November, if you remember. So there's already, I mean, we've already seen how Newsom, handles this kind of, not necessarily the death of a senator, but this kind of situation where he needs to fill a vacancy. In fact, he's done it a lot, and he's gotten some criticism for not leaving some of these decisions up to the voters. I think we can certainly expect Republicans to say that he needs to leave it up to the voters, but he's pretty much indicated this would be an appointment in this kind of situation.
Do you know like how quickly that all has to happen? Is there a timeline that is kind of legally set?
Yeah, at this moment, I don't have this information on me right now.
Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Just,
no, and that's okay. I think we're all trying to understand the timing of how Newsom moves on this. And of course, I think the governor is probably going to want some space for himself to grieve. I know that the governor and Senator Dianne Feinstein were very close, and I think he has reiterated over and over again in these moments that, he's obviously heartbroken about her health and the situation that this has evolved into. But yeah, I mean, he's going to have to make moves quickly.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. We appreciate you. And Ashley is, by the way, down in Anaheim for the Republican convention, which he'll also be covering. So that adds another, element to the story, too.